because she's the one who smiles at you every time you fought in public.
I have powers that you can't begin to...
Fable has just become one of them games you just kind of think of fondly. It's one of those games where you will sit there, grey and wrinkled, in front of your fire and explain that if you don't choose the dog, there is a special place in hell for you. Apart from that though, it doesn't really matter if you're a good goody cherry on top hero or a villain with devil horns, who just loves annoying the F out of Doris and farting in the middle of a picnic. If you haven't played Fable yet, just after them last two sentences, sit back, open your poison of choice, kick a chicken and settle in. If you've already played Fable, this will be a massive nostalgia trip, as going back to these games is fun. And if you haven't, maybe this is what makes you. And if you do, actually comment below if you've played it before or if it's made you play it. So let's mumble about it.
Now go.
It does feel like when you play any Fable game, you kind of are getting a completely different experience. The first game, you're getting like a fairy tale, Hobbit, Shire type experience with dark sprinkles of really dark stuff, really. Not much humour. It's quite dark. I thought it was going more humorous. I forgot. Completely forgot. Fable 2 though. True grit. True grit to its core and humour. Humour. And then the third one, you play as a rich kid. A royal, spoiled, rich kid. Okay, let's just get this out of the way. Let's just talk about the Fable 3 and then we'll carry on. It's not going to be the same old argument. Fable 3 isn't as good as Fable 2. That's not going to be what we're going to be talking about, okay? But we need to talk about why Fable 3 is how it is and how it's actually still quite a good experience.
It is not your destiny today, little sparrow.
You think I'm going to be negative about it, don't you? You think I'm going to say this game completely breaks the trend of Fable, giving you a royal past and a posh upbringing kind of disconnects you from the game and therefore the character, especially after Fable 2. That was so gritty and interesting, and going from that true grit to some boring kingdom was a bad idea. That felt overdone even in 2010 and took away from being a hero alongside taking away from a lot of choices. No, I'm going to say Fable 3 is actually pretty decent to play and should have never ended the franchise really, and kind of overhated. Like High God right now. I'm like, High God, am I right? Going through this world, it has been kind of tarnished by your own family, and building up a revolution against your family is kind of fun experience, going through a different areas and building that rebellion, that kind of army. Does it feel like a Fable game? Not really, as it kind of takes you away from that feeling of choices to a point, as you feel very stuck into this kind of story element, rather than going on your own adventure like Fable 1, or kind of being your own hero in Fable 2 and making your own way, your own goals. Your main goal's revenge, and how you do that is kind of your own choice. Fable 3 though, you are going on this rebellion. You are the revolution of the city you're in, the factory city, the new steampunk kind of city, and you're going against your evil brother, and it just seems like you're the good guy. You can rub that sign-up sheet all over your butt, but no matter what, you're basically joining the revolution. It's your choice how the revolution turns out, but you're still in a revolution against evil. What for Fable feels slightly odd. But when you look at it, I do think it could have been just kind of a story issue. Spoilers if you're going to play it. 3? Spoilers-ish. Spoilers? Spoilers-ish. No, proper spoilers. It's going to be proper spoilers. So 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. I'll put timestamps below. I'll put spoiler timestamps below. I'll do something. Just go below if you don't want spoilers and I will sort that out. In the end, it actually turns out your brother is doing all this evil stuff to its people to fund an army after going up against something called the Crawler. Feels like such an out of the blue element and really cements why this game feels slightly off. This messily changing the game from a Fable game to a more morale, loyalty, kind of greater system type stuff, as you do take the role of the new ruler and you do kind of choose whether to follow your brother's footsteps or be good to the people. I think either way, it's really easy, the ending, so do what you want, I suppose. It does give you more freedom, and it kind of does add to the Fable elements. But all the things you kind of do in Fable 3 are fun and exciting. You build this rebellion, then you run the kingdom, and then there's all this kind of stuff. And it's something you can't do now. You don't find a game like this being made. Maybe there is on the indies somewhere, but I haven't saw it. I don't remember it. If you have a game where you can just cause a rebellion, and then you can rule the kingdom afterwards, comment below, because I'd love to play that game. But apart from that, this is a kind of original experience that I think most people should at least try out. Especially if you haven't played any of the Fable games, start here. That's my recommendation actually. Start here. And if you don't like it, go to 2. And if you like 2, go to 1. That's my kind of, basically go backwards. Yeah, go backwards. So basically, kind of Fable 3 is like the bounty in the celebrations. You leave it to the end, always, even if you like them, probably. And then you kind of start to eat them. And then you go, oh, these are quite alright. Why did I put a bad British accent on? Welsh. Anyway, they're alright. Like Fallout 3, you might get used to it.
Now go.
I'm not going to go all old man gamer on you. I'm not going to say, games in my day had atmosphere. I've played 3 hours of Claire Asker and 30 minutes of Deliverance Kingdom. I think that's the name of it, I can't remember. The medieval game. The atmosphere of them games make you go... And I also got that feeling 20 hours of the Factory game. What's that called? Factoria? Also kind of feeling that illness of when you play a game for 20 hours and you haven't done anything, like making this video. Fable though has that feeling that can't be explained. And I think kind of all 3 of them have them in different ways. It's like watching your favourite British sitcom. Bacon Show.
Started making it, had a breakdown. Bon appetit.
Maybe it's mostly like Taskmaster, as you're kind of given different quests that you have to solve, and some of them do involve doing some weird things. It's just that feeling, that true feeling of Fable, that is just so unique and hasn't really been done since-ish. Like, we've had fairy tale stuff, we've had humorous stuff, but I don't think we've kind of had it mixed together before. And it's been like 15 years. Why? I want to see a game like that. I need to look at the indies more. Yeah, I think I need to look at the indies more for some story. Foreshadowing. They're all very different. I would say Fable 2's grit and its true British feeling is taking the most likely inspiration from Victorian times. Fable 1 has its kind of British country vibe. If you want to be hurt by the pain of the world, play Fable 2. If you want an escape to the country files type game with kind of dark elements and not that much humour, you have Fable 1. Then Fable 3 has this kind of royal family royalty, like I'm watching The Crown. Don't know, if they made Fable 3 now, it could be kind of their best game. Could you imagine a Fable game now being inspired by like Bridgerton, The Crown, and the thick of it? The atmosphere though is Fable core, of the British mix with the myths and legends. I just keep on thinking about Fable 3. I think it could have generally been better than the previous 2 if it just got some more love. Look at him. Look at him over there. He's cute. Look at him. Ow. It bit me. The atmosphere though is Fable core, of the British mix with the myths and legends. It's the building blocks of the design and characters. The way you interact with them is the way they kind of live their lives in this world. It feels like it's lived in, and it kind of gives you the feeling of this game is alive. And it's not just a village or a city in the middle of grass. It's a live-in village. You can interact with most of the NPCs here. It's minimal, but it makes you feel like the world is alive. You might not be able to go in the houses. Oh, that's why they're doing that.
It is not your destiny today, little sparrow.
In games now, it feels like we have very structured games or very open games. There's not much middle ground. Your Zelda now is open world. It's open to the max. There's freedom to the max, and that's probably where Nintendo's going towards. More freedom in kind of everything, because Donkey Kong had it as well. Then you have structure. You have Claire Oscar. Very structured gameplay. But you don't really see the mix of them. Or unless you do see a mix of them, but they're not done that well. Fable was that done well. Mostly. Even though that simple kind of thing does kind of go from a wheel to literally clicking 2 buttons. Yeah, but that little detail, don't know how complicated that was to develop, that little detail of interacting with NPCs so easily and just kind of making friends with them, did add a lot to the experience of this game. This mostly boils down to, are you going to be a hero or a villain? It's always been the foundation of the game, the whole franchise. Changing this element or overcomplicating it could change the whole game and possibly destroy it. I repeat, changing this would ruin the game. Playground. It would ruin it, okay? please. The fact in all 3 games you're given this choice of good or bad from the get-go. Do you smash the barrels with the beetles? Do you give the warrants to the guards or the criminals? Well, it does actually have a big element of what happens in the game. Do you sign the petition or rub it on your butt? Some don't affect you either, not your morale system. Some affect the actual world. These mostly being kind of your choices as a child. And that does give you, I think, a weird feeling of what you're going to do in the game because you made these choices as a child, and it does kind of affect you, I think, and kind of puts you on your own path of what you're going to do. Mostly, you get a royal kid what's already an adult in Fable 3. It's a bit of an meh. And the choice of when you go on an adventure, it feels like a very linear or non-linear, whatever it is, the smaller one, that you have these quests. You go on these quests, these adventures, you might have these slight feelings of, oh, we're just going on a basic kind of quest, and then suddenly it can turn its head to something a lot more crazier, and it could be easy as to save 1,000 souls or torture them forever. This kind of gives you that sense of freedom, that sense of adventure, that sense of this expanding world, this living world that you are changing as you live in it, as you become attached to what happens in the world. But I swear to God, save your bloody dog. If you don't save your dog, there's a special place down below for you. Save your dog. Try to do the Homer thing. Not only that though, we go much further. You have the quest, the adventure there in front of you, but what about when you go to the village, your hub world kind of place? What usually is the boring area full of pointless stuff, and I always hate a hub world. Can't remember the last hub world I actually liked and had fun in. Fable though looked at all the hub worlds before hub worlds were really a thing and thought, what if? What if you could buy a house? What if you could marry the pretty woman or the pretty man down the road? Because she's the one who smiles at you every time you fart in public. What if you could sell a house, raise rent, buy a castle, buy a farm, become a villain, become loved or feared, even get a job? There's so many different small elements here that makes you feel like you're part of the world. I do think this is another big reason why we all kind of love the Fable franchise, because you can interact with this world so much. Just in this small element, it just adds so much to your gameplay. It's such a small element, and I kind of understand why they focus so much on it in the new Fable, because all these small elements adds to your experience of this world. Personally, if I was the Playground developers or had a developer who had time, it's probably none of them, I'd create like a Fable Second Life where they expand all this in like a weird DLC thing, but it turns into its own like original game where you just live in the Fable world, in the village. Maybe you can have horde attacks or some kind of stuff to add that kind of feeling of attacking and action, but it just would be fun just to kind of have a weird Fable sim. No? The fact there are so many choices in just Fable 2 that released in 2008 is crazy to me. I don't really think anything has pulled this off at this level again. Fable 3 kind of pulled it off, but then they obviously brought it down a lot and then pushed it to the side. They kind of pushed it forward by making you feel like a king and queen, but personally didn't give you the freedom of in a town. The way you can just forge your own destiny in this world of Albion is just a beautiful thing that has made Fable such a loved game. And all this together has aged this franchise like 16-year-old pickled onions. This freedom and atmosphere of grit has added to such an amazing kind of game, and it does feel weirdly British. I can't really think of any medieval type TV shows that has this humour and this grit to it. Maybe Merlin. I didn't watch Merlin, but it looks kind of like it, but it doesn't look that good. When you go back to Fable games, the gameplay isn't really what brings you back. It's very basic when you look at it. If it was just the combat there, I don't think it'd be that loved. It would be boring quickly. It's the writing that kind of shakes you out with a possible boredom. You might think for a minute that you're getting bored, and then suddenly some solid writing hits you and you forget all about the negativity you had about this game. Then you explore around, you see how much the buildings you want to buy is, and so you go on adventures to try and buy that building. Obviously you go on adventures for different reasons and to progress the story, but that could be one of them, especially the side quests. You might have that aim to be the villain, or you just want to fart in every public place possible. There are scenes in all these games that will kind of make you laugh and then kind of make you sad. And when a game can do that, it just kind of gives you, this game is good. When you can be laughing at a section and then possibly crying, probably not crying, I won't go that far. Maybe at the start, so you got this really sad too. Yeah, if you played it for the first time, maybe you get sad by that. But it just adds to such a good game when it can do that. It's like a comedy. When a comedy can make you cry and laugh, it's a good one. And this game proves that. And this is why we love the Fable franchise. And with that, that's it for this Mumble. Comment below your love for the franchise. Don't really want any negativity about it. Don't really care for negativity about this game, really, as I just like it and I want to make a video on it. Comment below your thoughts, like and subscribe for future Mumbles to join the babbling horde, and I will see you on the next one.